Hi, so I'm here to show you a little demo of an application that I created a while ago. Um, and this is using an API to create um, some cards with robot pictures and names. So let's check it out. Let's see how this looks. So it's a simple app. It's just to show a little bit of the React components, a little bit of a search functionality. I can look for a specific robot. So the search functionality actually works pretty well. I have a pretty nice styling here. This is Google fonts that I also downloaded onto the application. So this picture is the name and the email address are all coming from the API. So I'm just using them and creating the cards with the information that I get back from the API. And well, there's not many robots right here, but this page is actually also responsive. I'm using some Bootstrap to make it responsive, some Flexbox. If I inspect and I go here, you'll see that it's scrollable. So it's got that nice feature of being responsive. Um, well, everything works just as it should. I can make this wider, and it adapts to different page sizes thanks to that um, nice functionality that Bootstraps gives us. So yeah, thank you. There you have it. It's a very small and but functional application. It's deployed on on GitHub Pages, and I guess I could show you a little bit of the code for this application. So if we go here, you'll see that I have all my components here. It's only a few components. I have search box, a scroll component, which you saw, an error boundary, a card list, and a card component, which is actually rendered by the card list. I have also the um, robots.js, which let me try to remember. This one is rendering the app, which is right here. And app actually does the fetch. So since I did this a while ago, I'm using class components like you're going to notice. I did not know how to use hooks at the time. So I was using lifecycle methods, React lifecycle methods. So component that mount worked pretty well for this. And I'm just doing a fetch to this external API and bringing back the response to be able to actually um, build the robot. So I'm setting state right here in the controller and the constructor, as you're going to see. I have a robots variable that's going to store the robots that come back in this array. And yeah, so yeah, that's how I store that. I store it, and then I start passing props down. Um, okay, here I'm destructuring robots in search field. Both things that I'm getting I'm destructuring state basically. I'm destructuring this object right here to build a brand new variable separate from separated from the or extracted from state, so that I can use them um, eventually and pass them down as props as I need to. As you can see here, I have a card list component, which is the component that is rendering all my cards, right? This whole thing is a card component. And I'm passing robots as a prop. We could probably see this right here. Oh, well, that's different. Okay. I apologize. I didn't realize that when you deployed that this would show up like this, but it doesn't matter. I can still show you how I'm passing props. Um, I'm assuming this. Well, this is probably the higher component in my application, which has the robots. This is probably app.js, and this has the robots array, and this is the response coming back from the API. As you can see, I have a bunch of things. I'm just using the name. I'm using things like the email, and I'm using the ID. I'm using the name. I'm not using the address and the company and the city and all that stuff, which I could perfectly. Um, if my application was a little bit more complex, I would probably use a lot of those properties inside every robot. Um, so let's see what do we got here. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like we get to see many props. All right, well, let's take a look again at the code. So I'm passing props right here. So if we go down to card list, we're going to see that card list has um, inside the return, it has um, an iteration, and is going through robots, which was passed down as a prop. It's grabbing each robot. This should be called robot probably, and it's in the index of the iteration, and then it's building up a card component, passing down or rendering, more like rendering, passing down a key, an ID, the name, the email of the robot, and then the card component uses the name, the email, and well, eventually the ID of the robot to do um, to use it here, right? Because this is the source, this is the image, so it needs to go to the source, to the specific ID, to get that specific robot. Um, and this is just me just structuring props in place so that I can just use this instead of saying um, props.name or props.email. It makes it cleaner and nicer and more organized to just use it this way. So that's basically how I build my cards, and that's how we see my application being laid out like this. And that's basically it. So thank you.